Hey everyone, and welcome back to Racing Through Canada's Past, the podcast that dives through the history of motorsports in Canada. I'm your host, John Morrison. This week, our journey takes us through the province of Manitoba as we learn about the first motorsports event that took place in 1901, the history of the Winnipeg Automobile Club, and of course, we look at some of the drivers from Manitoba. I do want to preface by saying this will be the last time we do a weekly show. I'm going to talk about it at the end of the episode as well. So, thank you guys. I'll break it down at the end here, but this one's a little bit of going to be little bit of a shorter one today, but still, I hope you guys enjoy it. But before we go any further, I do have to make an announcement though. Racing Through Canada's Past has landed our title sponsor for the show. We would like to welcome Pets Pro Painting as the presenting sponsor for this show. Pets Pro Painting is your one-stop shop when you're looking to update the look of your home or office. Contact Jay today to get the right colors for your home or business. Call Jay at 905-394-1470 or email petspropainting@gmail.com. All right. As I said earlier this week, we're going to talk about motorsports in the province of Manitoba. The story takes us back to the year 1901. The race was won by a driver in a 12 horsepower Ford. Now, 4 years later, the birth of the Winnipeg Automobile Club was born, hosting races regularly for passenger and light touring cars. The Winnipeg Automobile Club was founded in early 1904 with a dozen or so car owners meeting at Edgar Kenrick's house to discuss the club. The goal of the club was to actually improve the roads, driver safety, and vehicle inspections. Also publishing road maps and offered roadside assistance and certified repair facilities. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? That since its inception in 1904, the club has changed its name to the Manitoba Motor League, and then in 1993, it was changed again to what we all know today as CAA. Now, this was actually the CAA Manitoba region. It is interesting to see how the club has evolved over the 100 years of service provided. Now, I'm thinking we may go back at a later date and really dive into the history of the CAA and its impact across the country. Now, I know that the first event was taken in 1901, but the Winnipeg Automobile Club did start hosting races in 1905 and 1906. Now, again, as I always say, there's not really much information I'm able to find about this. I wish there was. I really do. But the winner would take home what's called the Dunlop Trophy. In 1905, this it was actually a street course that they ran on at the time, and it was in 1905. It was 56 miles in length, and then 1906, it was a little bit shorter. It was only 42, but they ran it from the Happy Land Amusement Park to the town of Stonewall and back. After the 2 years of racing on the road course, the race was moved to the 1 mile dirt oval at Kirkfield Park Racetrack, located in Winnipeg. Now, before auto racing started in 1908, it was a horse track, and it's located on the west side of Winnipeg. When horse racing ended in 1912, the track transitioned to auto and motorcycle racing only. The final event was held at the Speedway on Canada Day in 1914. Now, I'm going to assume that the reason why was because of World War One. There's not much extra information about why it closed. So that's going to be my guess. Canada 1914, make it go out with a bang, right? So, but I do have a little excerpt I want to talk about, and it was taken from the Winnipeg Regional Real Estate News. It's just a little bit of from it. You guys can go take a look at it. I'll try. I'll see if I can find it again, and I'll put the link in the comment section on YouTube. So if you're over on YouTube, take a look below. I'll see if I remember to put it there. It was reported that 10,000 people turned out on a bright sunny day to see the famous daredevil Barney Oldfield. The Tribune on Saturday, on September 3rd, 1912, claimed that abominable streetcar service resulted in another 5,000 people being unable to reach the track. To the crowd's delight, Oldfield managed to clip off 5 and 4/5 seconds from the former 1 mile record of the track. The Speed King also broke the 2 mile record with a time of 100 seconds. The outstanding feature of the meet was the Dunlop Trophy race. Five started in the 25-mile spin, which resulted in a signal victory for the Ford car driven by Billy Rogers. The race was exciting in the extreme and was productive of the greatest enthusiasm among spectators as they saw its comparatively small Ford fairly burning up the track, gradually catching up to and passing each of the other cars, and not content with this, passing the Overland car for the third time and the EMF car, which was replaced by the Studebaker name in 1913 for the second time. Over in Brent, so that's the little excerpt there. Um, so again, I'm gonna have to go back through, see if I can find that article and maybe look into that a little bit more because there's more information there than I was initially able to find, but I didn't want to put all of it into this episode. But again, like this is always something that if I can find something else, it's gonna help me later on in another episode. So, um, but over in Brandon, Manitoba, at the Brandon Expo grounds, racing took place on the half-mile dirt oval from 1910 through 1920, running IMCA races until the 1950s. One of the last known events was 2 nights of racing during the 1974 provincial exhibition. Again, there's a couple small articles and people reminiscing, but that's about it that I can find, and it's only stuff I can see on Facebook. So I'm hoping I can find some more at a later date. Now, one of the more tracks I do want to talk about, mainly for its longevity of still being active in motorsports in Manitoba, and that is Victory Lane Speedway, which opened in 1973 and is still going strong today. It is a 4/10 of a mile speedway. Now, for people in Manitoba or Winnipeg, especially, may know the track under a different name, such as Winnipeg Speedway, which operated under that name from 1973 through 1994. In the fall of 1994, it was bought by Larry Niebel and changed the name to Victory Lane Speedway. In 2005, it changed its name to Red River Co-op Speedway till 2021 when it changed back to its Victory Lane Speedway days. The track was built by Peter Vernis with Bill Von Helmont designing the track. From 1978 through the mid 1980s, the World of Outlaws actually raced at the track. Um, I went to go looking for records, couldn't find a single one. But they were always talking about the races in Oswego and stuff like that. But couldn't find anything about who won the sprint car races at Victory Lane Speedway when they ran in the 70s and 80s. So if you're listening from Manitoba and know who any of those winners were, please contact us. Let us know. Drop them in the comment sections. I'd love to know who won the races. I only found one driver this week that I think was worth mentioning. Um, you know what? I'm gonna bring up the other one. It was actually really interesting. The other driver I found, it wasn't. He only ran one time. The other driver that I found, which was Bon McDougall, or it was Ronald Griffith McDougall. He. All right, we'll talk about him in a second, but this is the other guy we got here, Maurice Mo Carter. He's one I think is more deserving to talk about. He was born in Winnipeg in 1924. He was a decorated World War II veteran, even winning the Canadian Army mile run. In the 1950s, Mo was a sports and special event director at the CJCR radio in Edmonton, and even doing a number of Grey Cup broadcasts. In 1961, Carter started rallying, and in 1966 saw him transition to road course racing. Maurice would drive his familiar red and white Carter Camaro. In 1973, Carter would become the first Canadian to win a Trans Am and IMSA race, and his Carter Camaro finished fourth behind a trio of Porsches in 1980. Maurice was inducted into the Canadian Motorsports Hall of Fame in 1999, which again, awesome. You know, again, one of those things. I feel like there's a lot there to talk about. If I can find the right information, but I'm glad I found Maurice Mo Carter. Mo Carter, sorry. I'm gonna try to find more about him. And if, again, if anyone else who's listening is able to help me out here, greatly appreciated. Would love it. Um, and the next guy we got here, like I said, is Bon McDougal. Uh, he was funny enough, he was only a race car driver for one race, but this guy is a daredevil to say the least. So he was he as much as they say he was a Canadian race car driver, there's no information about him racing. The only one that we got here was that he qualified for the 1926 Indianapolis 500 driving a Miller car, and he only completed 19 laps before retiring due to a water leak. And McDougal actually won $512 in that race. He even designed five pinball machines for the Pacific Amusement Manufacturing Company of Chicago in 1934 and 1935. He received several patents for pinball games features during this time. He became a U.S. citizen in 1940. But here's the cool part about him was that he was at a air show in Los Angeles at the Burdett Airport and School of Aviation, but the performers didn't show. McDougal was apparently a part owner of the airport, persuaded a couple of his buddies who had come to watch the show to help him. And apparently, after 5 minutes of instructions, the pair performed as wing walkers, with McDougal flying the plane. Shortly after, in 1924, McDougal, Nichols, and Matlock formed a group called the Black Cats, later renamed the 13 Black Cats, to perform aerial stunts for movies. Now, they were supposed to each have a character, have a name that was 13 letters long, which is how McDougal acquired the nickname Bond. The group lasted 5 years, but eventually succumbed to increased safety regulations and cut rate competition. Now, that was what I was able to find on Wikipedia. So that guy's got quite the history, but of more being a stunt man than a race car driver. So who knows? Maybe I'll try to see if there's anything else about, that he actually competed and other stuff besides the 1926 Indianapolis 500. But guys, that is going to do it for us. I know I said this one was going to be a little shorter. Not my best work, and I know I'm sorry, but after this week, we are going to be moving to every other week to give myself a little bit more time to get the information because as of now, when you guys hear this tomorrow, I guess, or today on Thursday, the True North Racing podcast comes back this week. So I'm excited about that, which means racing's around the corner. I got 2 weeks to Motorama. There's so much going on that I'm gonna have to start taking my time a little bit more with these episodes. So you'll see these every other week from here on out. When we hit Ontario, though, because that is my home province, we are gonna spend a couple other weeks on that, talking about Ontario, the different series, the different divisions, and really talk about some of the tracks as well. Because, like I said, this is more really home for me. So there's gonna be a lot to talk about. So I thank you everyone who's checking into us, checking us out. Like I said, I'm hoping if I give myself an extra week, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a once a month kind of thing, maybe we'll have drop episodes. Um, but it's what's needed to hopefully bring the show to a better level, to another and to a bigger audience as well. So thank you guys for everyone who keeps tuning into us. But Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest videos that's coming out with Jomo Media here on YouTube. And if you guys are listening to us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you guys are getting your podcast from, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys let us know, rate us on Apple and Spotify. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys follow Joe Media Promotions on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, joemedia.ca. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks when we dive into the history of motorsports in Ontario. Thank you to Pets Pro Painting for being the presenting sponsor of the podcast. And if you're looking, like I said, if you're looking for a fresh new look for your home or office, contact Jay at Pets Pro Painting at 905-394-1470 or an email petspropainting@gmail.com. Until next time, see you guys.
You can find Jomo Media and Promotions on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and at jomomedia.ca. Until next time, keep your engines running and your belts tight.